Welcome to the AME television show. I'm your host, Jason Dowd, and we have got a lot of great stuff to show you guys this week. We're going to go all throughout Florida on a bunch of different adventures. We're going to meet some cool people. We're going to have some stuff that's artistic and historic. First, we're going to go to St. Petersburg, Florida, where we're going to meet up with Red Calling, their heavy metal band that had just released their brand new CD called Red Calling. We're going to talk to them. We're going to see some of their performance. It's going to be amazing. Let's go down to St. Petersburg right now and talk with Red Calling. Hey everybody, we are in St. Petersburg at the State Theater, and we are here with Red Calling, who's going to be going live, doing an amazing performance, I know, in just a few minutes. So we got a chance to talk to them. We're going to learn about them and talk about their new CD that they just released called Red Calling. Welcome to the show, guys. How you guys doing?
Good. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us here.
So let's first get to introduce you guys. Tell everybody who you are and what you play in the band.
I'm Javier. I play guitar for the band, and I carry the heavy stuff.
My name is Jessica. I play keyboards and guitar and vocals.
My name is Destiny and I play the drums.
My name is Louis and I play the bass.
Now you guys recently just released this brand new CD called Red Calling. It's your first full-length album, obviously. Tell us a little bit what it felt like to complete the album, and what did you kind of go through to get to this point?
Yeah, it was very satisfying, because we've been together 6 years, and it's the first time that we get to like a professional studio with a producer, and we just shoot a video too. So it's a huge step. It means a lot to us. We're very happy with it.
I know a lot of bands, they kind of try to tell a story when they produce an album. So it kind of each song kind of complements each other. How did you choose the songs to go on this, or was it just songs that you happen to like?
Oh, well, we had, of course, I think we have around 15 to 20 songs, and we definitely go by the ones that we like the most, and the ones that are more commercial, catchier, and that's how we choose this. Most of them are, I guess, like half of the album was written a couple of years ago, and then we just had this spree of like a lot of new ideas with new elements, electronic elements, and we're even writing heavier music now. So that's how we got the full album.
And I know when you guys first started out, you were a lot different than you are now.
Yeah.
How did you start, and what kind of got you to evolve to who you are as you are today?
It's part of being an artist, you need to evolve. You need to, it's like a painter, you start playing with different elements and trying to, perfection your craft, and it's definitely necessary, to evolve. You don't want to get stuck playing the same music. And Javier with this, we started using 7-string guitar, so that's how we got this new sound, the heavier sound, and we're really happy.
Let's kind of talk a little bit about your history. What kind of got you into playing the guitar, singing, and everything else? What kind of got you to that point?
I started playing piano when I was 6 years old. It was my first passion ever. Then I started with the guitar when I was a teenager. I was 14, and I started singing at the same time. It's just, I just was born with it. When I was a little child, I was banging pots and pans and stuff. I play little drums too, so it's just a necessity.
How about you? Same thing. What kind of got you playing the guitar, and what got you writing music, and when did you realize this is something you wanted to do as a passion?
Well, growing up, I saw a band down my block. That was actually the first time of me hearing an electric guitar, and it caused so much of an impression on me that I was like, man, I gotta start doing that. I gotta get my guitar now. And I just love writing. I mean, a lot of the lyrics that I do, they don't start off as songs. It's just stuff that I write, and then I make music and kind of work out, see which lyric goes with that music. So I just keep writing. We have enough material to do 4 albums, but it's hard, because and expensive too. Yeah, it takes a lot of effort to do a full album, especially if you do it in a nice studio, because it takes time. There's so much detail, there's so much tweaking. So yeah, that's pretty much how I write music.
How about you, Destiny? How did you get into playing the drums, and what inspired you?
I started since I was probably 6 years old. My brothers were drummers too, and I started watching them. My father used to sing and play guitar, so one day I just sat on the drums and started playing too, and it became my passion to play drums and percussion too, other instruments, but the drums is my love.
See, if my mom didn't pull the pots and pans away from me when I was younger, I'd probably be in there too.
You will hit anything.
She stopped me and she's like, nope, this isn't going to happen. So she squashed my dreams there.
Yeah,
That's
just
right.
let them bang. Yeah, yeah.
Now, playing the drums, obviously the Spanish background has a little bit more with the percussions, with the bongos and everything like that. How different is that from playing the actual drum sets?
They're all family, the family line I say, but drums is more, I mean, you use more of your legs, both legs and arms, and congas and bongos, with mostly hands and fingers. I love all of them, but drums, like I said, is my passion. But yeah, I play congas, bongos, timbales, a bunch of other stuff.
I bet
That's really
that's
fun.
impressive. How about you, Louis? How did you get into playing the bass?
Well, I started playing guitar when I was 15, I think. And then I tried the bass and it had more feeling, so I just liked it better.
And kind of tell everybody, we'll start with you, who are your influences growing up, and how did they influence you in this band?
Well, it was a lot of 90s music, Deftones, Thrice, and you just mix everything, and that's what we come up with.
How about you, Destiny?
Old school Phil Collins, and after that, Linkin Park. I'm a big fan of Linkin Park.
And I like that because it's so diverse, you know. I mean,
is.
if anybody ever looked on my iPad or my phone or anything like that, they'd see stuff from 1930s swing all the way up to death metal. There is nothing that I don't have on that thing. And
It's good though. It's good.
I get
Variety.
picked on for some of it. They're like, "Oh, that's a dumb song. Why do you have that on there?" Like,
Music
I like
is
it.
music. It doesn't matter what it is.
Good music's good music.
Yes.
How about you?
My father, he listened to a lot of music, and I grew up listening to British rock, like Led Zeppelin, Beatles, Pink Floyd. And when I was a teenager back in the 90s, I listened a lot to Deftones, Korn, Lacuna Coil. I love this band from Netherlands. It's called The Gathering, which is a huge influence on my vocals. And my favorite band ever, it's Radiohead. Tom York is a big influence too on my vocals too. The melodic part of my writing, it's hugely influenced by Radiohead.
And who's your influences?
Man, I listen to everything. I mean, if you shuffle my music, you'll get Bob Marley, and the next song might be Cradle of Filth. But if I had to pick a band, I went to see Deftones when I was about 17. And man, that show was, because every song they write is different, and every album they do is different. But they still capture their own sound. So that's pretty much what we want to accomplish as a band. To even though all the 10 songs on our album, they're different, but they have like a common element, like a recalling element. I mean, so you can listen to one song and the other, and still can tell that it's the same band, but both songs might be different. So yeah.
You made a pretty good point there, because I know that there's so much music out there. It's hard to stay and have an identity in your artwork. Yes. That if somebody listens to it and say, "Oh, I know who that is." Rap. I've kind of realized that back in the '90s, you knew who each rap artist was. Now you can't tell. Yeah. It's hard. It's very hard to tell who they are because they all sound the same. How do you find that and keep that fresh? That way, it doesn't become somebody else.
Well, we're all human beings, and we're all different, and we don't like bands that compete for the same sound. I think that every musician is capable of having their own sound. Like a lot of the bands that I listen to, they can come up with a new song, and I listen to it, and I know what band it is. So yeah, I think each artist can bring something different to the table. Yeah.
It's about being an artist, definitely. It's an expression. It's like a painter. You don't expect a painter to paint like the other painter. You try to be original, and definitely that's part of being an artist. Create an identity, being original, bringing something different, to the scene.
And Jessica, you're from South America. Yeah. Actually, you're from Venezuela, and I know that was a communist country. Mm-hmm. I've never been to something like that or know much about it. How is music different down there? Do they regulate the music? Is it more freestyle where up here you can pretty much do whatever you want with your sound? Do they regulate anything like that? What is it like down there?
Well, you can't definitely be in a band that's against the government. But as far as styles and genres, it's there's no limitations, But if the content, if it's against the government, the lyrics and all that, you can't definitely be in a band. But there's a huge death metal fan base in Venezuela. There's Luis.
Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah, yeah, I know. So, but yeah, it's I was very lucky to grow down there. There's a lot of American influence. There's the town where I come from. It's an oil town, and they have a lot of oil companies, a lot of American workers, and that's how my father used to get all those albums. And yes, it's as far as genres, there's freedom, but not content-wise.
All right. Well, we're almost out of time. So how can people find your album, and how can they buy it?
You can check our website is rightcallingmusic.com. You can go to iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, and of course, if you're coming to one of our shows, you can get the physical copy too.
That's awesome, guys. We're gonna go do your performance right now. So
Awesome.
we're gonna have some live footage of that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Stick with us, guys. We'll be right back after the commercial.
Limo Bob builds, sells, and rents the world's finest, longest, and most exotic limousines in the world. We provide every imaginable vehicle from a 4-passenger town car to a 10-passenger Bentley Rolls and a Hummer for $20. We even have a one-of-a-kind 727 jet limo. And we offer a complete consulting package where Limo Bob comes to your location and shares 3 decades of experience in 3 days with you. Call 708-945-LIMO and visit limobob.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed Red Calling. If you want to check out their music or see where they're touring, go to www.redcallingmusic.com. They'll appreciate it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to Clearwater, Florida for the Pier 60 Sugar Sand Festival. What this is a bunch of people that get together and sculpt out of sand. And you wouldn't think it's that hard, since we did it when we were kids, we made those sand castles, but it is extremely difficult. They make statues and sculptures that are probably almost 6-7 feet tall, and they don't crush it. How is that possible? I don't know, but that's why they are the professionals. So let's go down to Clearwater, Florida and check out these amazing sand castles. And remember, they come out every year around the same time, so check the local listings. If you're in the state of Florida, in the Tampa Bay area, you will absolutely love the experience. Let's go to Clearwater, Florida now.
Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to BuyYourTimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed those sandcastles as much as I did. They did some amazing work, and if you're in this Clearwater area, it's something you absolutely want to check it out. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go a little bit further south to Ellenton, Florida. Ellenton is known for its outlet mall, its antique stores, and the Gamble Plantation. Now, what is the Gamble Plantation? Well, it's a great place to visit if you're on the road, you just want to go have some fun with the family. It's a Florida State Park, and it's a plantation that is it's just surrounded full of bad luck. I mean, this guy planted just about everything, and it never worked out for him. He lost everything, and he ended up going back up to the Panhandle. But one of the Secretary of States, after the Civil War broke out, he fled to the south here so he could get away, because he was actually an enemy of the country, and he probably could have been killed or imprisoned indefinitely. So he comes down here, he hides out here for a week, and he takes off. He does make it. The North did not capture him. Great story to hear. Amazing place to visit. It's the Ellenton Plantation. Look it up on the internet. But we're going to go take you through one of the actual tours that we took there. Now, this is a very long tour. We cannot get it on the entire thing on this episode. So over the next couple weeks, you're going to be seeing little bits and pieces of that tour. So you're going to want to check it out every single solitary time we have it, so you can see the whole tour. And hopefully take a tour yourself if you're down here. So let's go to Ellenton, Florida, the Gamble Plantation, and I'll show you exactly what the South was like back in the 1800s.
Concrete is 18 of them. All are original but 2. I'll show you those 2 when we get around to that area. The walls of the home are 2 feet thick, solid concrete. Several hurricanes have come through and the home still stands, so it obviously works out well for that, and insulation, of course. And then all the windows that open are located on the west and east sides of the home. All those windows are double hung. And generally in the afternoon, that nice sea breeze from the Gulf will blow right through the middle and help to cool the place off. One other change are the verandas. That's typically more Victorian. They were added to the home to shade the walls so it doesn't turn into a brick oven in the middle of the day. Okay, we're about to go in, but I gotta spoil it for you and just let you know this is a tragic tale. What eventually happened is Robert went broke. He had to sell everything and move back to Tallahassee. The reason I'm telling you this right off the get-go is because none of that furniture inside belongs to Robert Gamble. When he left here, that stuff was put on a separate boat and shipped to Tallahassee. On arrival, it was put into a warehouse which burnt down 12 hours later. Kind of the icing on the cake for him. So it is period correct, it just didn't belong to Robert Gamble. And of course we don't want you sitting on that furniture, so use those windowsills that are made out of 2 feet thick solid concrete as a bench if you want to sit on the tour. And we are getting into that time of year where I get people falling out on me. If you get hot or wheezy, exit the tour. Don't keep sucking wind on us and make me have to do CPR or something later on. And if you got a camera, I'm gonna let you be last because you probably want pictures without human beings all crowded in the room. So if you would do me a favor, and Robert was pretty much alone when he first arrived. More and more folks started coming to the area, and he was the wealthiest guy in town. In society back then, that meant you had to provide the social setting for the people who weren't as well off. And if you're gonna have guests over, then a parlor is kind of necessary. There's John Grattan Gamble, that's Robert's father. He started out as a baker in Virginia and moved to Tallahassee where he had that cotton plantation. Obviously let his son borrow a bunch of money as well for this adventure here. Below him is a Bose & Sons parlor piano built in the 1850s. This is one of the first things the state of Florida purchased to decorate the home with. So in the early 1900s, the mansion had been abandoned for several years. Then Armour Fertilizer Company was using it as a warehouse to store their fertilizer, also known as manure. This rotted out the home. The place was in shambles. It was going to be torn down. Well, locals in the area didn't want that to happen, so they started building up money. They eventually contact the UDC. This is the United Daughters of the Confederacy. They chip in as well, and the home is purchased and then deeded to the state of Florida about 1923. It's been a historic state park ever since. And that's about the same time the state went out to a local thrift store, picked up this piano for 14 bucks. They restored the exterior only in the 1990s to the tune of about $5,000. So give you an idea of how inflation works or what kind of deal they got back then. This is a tea caddy. Just like today, wealthy people wanted to own the most expensive things. Tea was very expensive, so much so that it was kept locked away. You can see it's like a little cash box. There's the lock on the front. This would likely be locked in a bigger, sturdier cabinet upstairs and only brought out for very special guests or occasions. Chewing tobacco, also very popular. Behind this young man is a spittoon. You will see more as we go throughout the tour. Don't use those if you're chewing tobacco. You're going to have to swallow it or go outside. The molding around the ceiling is in almost every room as well. Very common in Greek Revival to have this picture rail or picture molding because repairing solid marble walls when you put holes in them isn't the most fun activity. This allows you to redecorate every 30 seconds if you want, and you don't have to make those repairs. Supposedly this is coming back. A guy was on tour. He called himself a luxury home builder, and that's what he told me, so take that with a grain of salt if you want, but supposedly it's making some headway again. If it's made of wood, and I'm talking about things that are part of the house, the trim, the floors, the doors, the windows, all of that is rebuilt. The fertilizer fiasco took care of everything that was.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the end of the show. We had so much fun touring all over Florida, and this is what we have coming up in the next couple of shows. We're going to continue on with the Gamble Plantation tour. So you're going to want to check it out because there's so much information on how people lived back here in the pioneer days. And it's just amazing that they were able to do so much with so little. And when you think about all we have that we live by today, it's hard to imagine what it's like, what life was like without it. But we're going to show you what that's like. And if you've never been to a place like this, you definitely want to go check it out. Also, what we have coming up is Constellation Productions. This is a group from New Jersey that came down here full of kids from middle school, high school, and college. And it's produced by Jennifer Trabucco. And she did an amazing job at Disney Springs. And she brought to life Disney songs in theatrical productions. Something you're going to absolutely want to check out next week. And we have other places we're going to be going to. We have some more historic places that we're going to show you. We have some more people that we're going to be talking to. We even have belly dancing coming up. So if you've never quite understood what belly dancing is about, we're going to show you. You're going to have a lot of fun. And we're going to have more wrestlers, so much more. And if you want to figure out how to see the show, or if you want to see past episodes, if you want to see our radio show or our magazine, go to www.theamemagazine.com. That is the AME experience. You'll be able to have the links to everything up there, the radio show, the television show, and the magazine. And it's free, so go check it out. Also, if you're on Facebook, we're at facebook.com/the AME experience. And if you're on Twitter, we want to hear from you there too, which is twitter.com/DOWD Studios. That's Dowd Studios. That's my personal Twitter. It's the studio's Twitter, my artistic studio Twitter, and it is the AME Experience's Twitter. So that's all we have for you guys this week. Check us out next week. You're gonna absolutely want to come back and see what we have going. Till then, good night, everybody.